The extent of heat in the air is known as its temperature. Temperature is related to the heat received from the sun. Sometimes we feel cold, sometimes we feel hot. Thus, we come to know if the weather is hot or cold. But we cannot tell exactly how hot or how cold the weather is. The extent of heat in the air has to measure to tell this. The instrument used for measuring the extent of heat is called thermometer. Air temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. Let us study about factors influencing temperature. Temperature is mainly affected by the following factors. 1. Latitude. Distance from the equator. Observe the figures. The first figure shows how the rays of the sun occupy less area near the equator and more area away from the equator. The same thing is shown in the second figure with the help of a beam of torch. It shows how the torchlight falls on slanting and perpendicular surfaces occupying more and less area respectively. Perpendicular and slanting rays of the sun. While discussing the temperature, we have often talked about perpendicular and slanting rays and the change in temperature caused by them. Let us see what exactly is meant by perpendicular and slanting rays. In the period between sunrise and sunset, maximum heat is felt around noontime. The sun is at the horizon at dawn and dusk, and we don't feel the heat so much. At these times, rays of the sun are not only slanting, but almost horizontal. That is why we see long shadows. In our study of temperature, when we say that the rays are perpendicular or slanting, we refer to me rays at noon. The rays can be exactly perpendicular only in the region between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. In this torrid zone, sun rays make an angle of minimum 66 degrees 30 minutes and maximum of 90 degrees. That is why the temperature in this region is high. The rays are never perpendicular even at noon in the temperate and frigid zones. As we move from the torrid to the frigid zone, the rays become more and more slanting, and therefore they are not very strong. That is why the temperature is low in the temperate zone and much lower in the polar regions. When the rays of the sun occupy a large area, the heat gets distributed over a wider area, and that is why the temperature there is low. But when a small area gets the same amount of heat, the temperature in that area is high. The rays generally fall perpendicular in the equatorial region and occupy less area. Therefore, the temperature in that region is high. Comparatively, in regions away from the equator, the rays are slanting and hence occupy a wider area. As they occupy more area, the temperature there is low. That is why, as we move away from the equator, the temperature decreases. 2. Altitude. We go higher and higher from the sea level. The air temperature in the troposphere goes on decreasing. The reason is that most of the heat received from the sun is radiated by the surface of the earth in the atmosphere. From this, some of the heat is absorbed by the air. Therefore, the layer of atmosphere near the surface of the earth gets heated first. Then the upper layers get heated serially one by one. That is why the air temperature is higher on lower altitudes and low on higher altitudes. In the figure, the section between Dehradun and Mussoorie is shown. Observe the figure and try to understand the relation between altitude and temperature. 3. Proximity to the sea. Land becomes hot quickly and cools down quickly. On the other hand, water takes time to become hot and cools down slowly. This property of water affects the temperature in the neighboring region. That is why, in coastal regions, the day temperature is low and the night temperature is high as compared with the interior continental regions. In the interior regions, the day temperature is high and the night temperature is low in comparison with the coastal region. The climate around large water bodies is usually even. 4. Ocean currents. Ocean currents are caused in the sea due to planetary winds and difference in density of marine water. These currents flow from equatorial regions to the polar regions and from the polar regions to the equatorial regions. Currents flowing from the equator to the poles are hot, whereas currents flowing from the poles to the equator are cold. If these currents are flowing along the coast, they affect the temperatures of the coastal regions. If a cold current is flowing along a coastal region, the temperature in that region becomes low. And if a hot current is flowing near a coastal region, the temperature of that region rises. Besides the above factors, some other factors affecting local temperature are clouds, winds, the physical setup, nature of the land, forest cover, etc. Now, study the distribution of temperature. Temperature in different places on the surface of the earth differs. Distribution of temperature is explained in two ways. 1. Vertical distribution. The change in temperature that takes place due to altitude is called vertical distribution of temperature. 2. Horizontal distribution. The change in temperature that takes place in a horizontal direction on the surface of the earth is called horizontal distribution of temperature. Horizontal distribution of temperature is shown on the map with the help of isotherms. Isotherm. A line joining the places on the map having the same temperature is called an isotherm. Distribution of temperature is shown on a map with the help of a number of such isotherms. In areas where the temperature changes rapidly, the distance between the isotherms is less, whereas in areas where the change in temperature is slow, the distance between the isotherms is more. This figure shows the world distribution of temperatures with the help of isotherms. If we observe these isotherms on the map carefully, we can see the following characteristics. 1. Isotherms are generally in the east-west direction, that is, parallel to the latitudes. 2. The maximum value of the isotherm is 25 degrees Celsius, and this isotherm are near the equator. Also, it has occupied a large area in different continents. 3. The minimum value of the temperature is minus 15 degrees Celsius, and these isotherms are near the north and south poles. 4. From the isotherms, it can be seen that the temperature goes on decreasing as we go from the equator to the poles. 5. Isotherm in the oceanic south pole regions is straight, but they look curved on the land. See if this has any connection with altitude. Now we shall study about temperature zones. Based on the difference in temperature, different temperature zones are defined from the equator to the poles. They are as follows. 1. Torrid zone. Rays of the sun fall perpendicular in the region north and south of the equator up to 23 degrees 30 minutes latitudes. Hence, the temperature in this region is quite high. That is why it is called the torrid zone. 2. Temperate zone. Rays of the sun slant slightly between 23 degrees 30 minutes and 66 degrees 30 minutes latitudes in both the hemispheres. Hence, the temperature in the region between these latitudes is neither too hot nor too cold. That is why it is called the temperate zone. 3. Frigid zone. Rays of the sun are extremely slanting in the regions that lie between 66 degrees 30 minutes and 90 degrees north and south latitudes. Hence, the temperature in this region is very low. That is why this temperature zone is called the frigid zone. Let us learn about simple thermometer. Different types of thermometers are used for measuring air temperatures. Let us see what a simple thermometer looks like and how it is used. This figure shows the picture of a simple thermometer. Here, a narrow glass tube is fitted on a wooden strip after creating vacuum in it. Then, the lower end of the tube is filled with mercury. The wooden strip on which the glass tube is fitted is calibrated with degrees Celsius scale. The minimum value is -35 degrees Celsius and the maximum value is 55 degrees Celsius. When the air temperature rises, the mercury in the tube expands and moves upwards in the tube. If the air temperature decreases, the mercury in the tube starts descending. With the help of this thermometer, air temperature at a particular time can be measured. Find out what degree Celsius the mercury has risen to in the thermometer shown in the figure above.